Alright, this is my little Larva X HD. I just put a Crossfire in it, bound it to my Tango. I just got a Tango, and it was not very easy to get this old receiver updated and bound. There were some glitches. It was a bit surprising and a bit disappointing. Now this camera on this, it is bound now, but it took a couple hours for me to get it all figured out. It's a lot easier when you have a fresh receiver, apparently. This camera is not really HD. It does record to a separate SD card, but it doesn't have the best quality. So I got my miniature Mortal T down here. I had to put a zip tie back here, and I heated it up a little bit to get it away from the prop and kind of bend it, and then shrunk wrap it. I have not flown this thing in months, maybe 6 months. This is one of the first FPV quads I got. I didn't know how to fly acro when I first got this. I just crashed it and then I broke it. It sat for a long time. I thought about putting the run cam split in there because it has a much better video. So don't expect the greatest of video on this because it's not that great. But I'm gonna give it a fly. I know it's fast. I do remember that. But I've never flown it in acro, so that's the plan. Okay, so this is the first time I've ever used this radio. I haven't flown this drone in a long time, and I know this drone's very fast. So I'm gonna start out in acro trainer with a angle limit of about 20 or 30. I can't remember where I set it, but it's not going to do any unplanned flips on me until I flip it into acro. So like I said, I got the Tango yesterday and it didn't go as seamless as you would expect. I had been watching videos on the Tango and I heard about binding issues and fail-safe issues, especially on quads that had been pre-bound to other receivers. I also heard a lot about fail-safes, and I'll get to that in a minute. The screen on the radio is very tiny, and it has Freedom TX, which is very similar to Open TX, but not quite Open TX. That combined with the tiny screen and my bad vision made it that much more difficult, even with number 2 cheaters. To make things worse, the setup video I watched was from a British guy, and I don't know what mode he flies in, but when he was going through the setup, he skipped past the stick positions and went straight to the modes. The receiver had been previously bound to a Micro TX, and it didn't want to bind to this Tango, and I tried every trick I read in the book. I tried to hold the bind button while I powered it up. I tried the Agent. I tried the Agent Lite. I tried the Agent X. I downloaded, I power cycled, I did this, I did that, I updated this, I Wi-Fi, I cloud, everything possible you could think of. Finally, on the Agent, I enabled the beta versions of the firmware. I went ahead and loaded that into the radio, and then I tried to bind again, and of course it loaded the beta version, the newest beta version, into the receiver. However, it was the same thing. It was a never-ending binding thing. It never confirmed the bind. It never stopped. I didn't think I got the green light. Maybe I did. I don't know. I was about to give up and file a ticket with TBS. I disconnected the radio and the drone from the Agent, and I was about to give up, and I decided to go ahead and just plug the battery back into the drone, and boom, I got a green light. So I didn't do anything else. I just went ahead and hooked up Betaflight and started and it was bound, and I started moving my sticks and everything was working. However, my sticks were all screwed up, so I went through a bunch of rigmarole to get that straightened out, and then I went through the settings to make sure my OSD was going to show the link quality and this and that and the other, so that was more rigmarole. And the VTX issues, there was no VTX table. This is an old quad with a old version of Betaflight. For whatever reason, there was no VTX table. So anyway, I decided to start off an acro trainer, and if you watch the video, you'll see where I kind of switch back and forth. Once I kind of get the feel that it's not going to go fly away or go crazy or wreck. This drone is black. The beeper can barely be heard from 2 feet away, and I didn't want to lose it on the very first try after I just did all that work to the receiver. This drone is extremely fast for, I guess it's a 2.5 toothpick. on a 3S battery, it books. So up in the left-hand corner, I'm looking at my RSSI value, and that's at 99% the entire time. If it goes below 99 at all, it's time to turn back, from what I understand. I set it up the old-fashioned way with an aux channel. That's just the way I did it because that's the way I'm familiar with, and it seems to work. When I turn off the battery to the drone, it goes down to 50%. So that seems to be working fine. So anyway, these are just my thoughts on the radio, not a review. I don't do reviews. I'm not very good at it. I'm just showing people what things are capable of. And if you have this quad, it's a lot of fun and it's very fast. I wish it had a better camera. You know, a naked vista would be great on here, but naked vistas are like gold right now. So I don't know if I'm going to take one out of another quad just for this. I just like to share my experiences with people from an average flyer. I'm an average, maybe below average pilot or whatever you want to call it, and this is what you get rather than a reviewer with years of experience and getting paid to give everything a positive review. I'm just showing you what I experienced. You may be better, it may be worse. So anyway, stay upright, my friends.